here. What a magical time of year. Hip hip hooray, it's Sword Unboxing Day.
Sword Unboxing Day.
Alright, this unboxing video brought to you by my incompetence. Because I'm the type of dummy that buys HEMA equipment and forgets the details and the small things that you should add to the package before you buy it, and then you have to buy it later, and then you need to justify the shipping costs. Hence a bunch of boxes in front of me, or at least these two. So we're going to take a look at these. I've got 2 packages from Purple Heart Armory that will have HEMA stuff in it, and we'll take a look at those first. And I've got 2 additional packages with a little bit of a story behind them. So let's get all this stuff out of the way. Alright. Start with the white box. Now, I don't know what all is in what box, but I know what I've gotten, so should be a fun video with some interesting stuff. I think the more interesting stuff is going to be in this brown box. If I can get this one open. And inside this white box is a brown box. All right. Let's see what's inside the brown box. I think I know what this is. Pretty sure I know what this is. And if it is what I think it is, then it's probably the best place to start. Oh yeah, definitely. So this is, because this is from Purple Heart, this is a little Mascot statue that they created in 2022 that they called Leashy. Leashy the, well, it's leashed an hour. Oh, all this stuff is in this awful foam that is a mess, and I'm going to have to clean up later, and I hate it, and it's all over the place already. Alright, so let's put the sword in the appropriate hand, and his trainer in the other, and there you go. It's just a little statue of Johannes Lichtenauer, and I had to justify the shipping somehow, so I started adding a bunch of stuff, and that was one that I saw. I was like, all right, that's actually pretty cool. And so I'm going to put this on my office desk and have it in the background when I'm in meetings for work and stuff. All right, set that off to the side, move boxes and other stuff off. The worst part about unboxing videos is the cleanup afterwards, because I don't take the time to clean up as I go, because it's more fun this way. So, I have all the other fun stuff in this box. So the thing is, I bought the saber, and I didn't buy it from Purple Heart, but I bought the gloves and I bought the sickles that were in the last unboxing video. I bought them from Purple Heart, and I totally neglected to buy the tips that you want to put on. I'm not seeing them in this box. I'm not seeing in this paper. Aha, here they are. Everything is shrink wrapped over here. So let me undo this. And hard cut, because I'm sure I made so much noise that nobody wants to hear, trying to get all that untangled from the plastic wrapped around the handle. So I needed these tippers. I wanted to get some basic tippers. I've actually used up all the ones that I had from on other HEMA swords, so I needed a real basic tipper. These things are like $5 for the whole package, but the problem is that it takes like 20-something bucks to ship this stuff. So I had to justify buying all of it, or paying that shipping by buying all this stuff. So I got a bunch of synthetic trainers of fun weapons that I don't really have understanding of how to use. And I just figured they'd be fun. So this is an African weapon called the Pinga. And I believe it's how it's pronounced, although it has like a silent K in it. Really weird weapon. It's one of those things that, like, I actually set it on a comment in one of the videos, reviews that I posted recently. Somebody said, I would have thought this would be a fantasy sword, talking about the Langid Viking sword. They said, thought it'd be a fantasy sword. And my response was, well, it's always fantasy until it isn't. And this kind of speaks to that. This is such a strange, bizarre weapon. But my understanding of it is that it's not just a melee weapon, but it's a weapon that can be thrown. And basically, no matter how you throw it or how it tumbles in the air, more or less flat and spinny, it's kind of like a throwing star. It's some point is going to hit somebody somewhere, I think is roughly the idea. So that's a Pinga. I have a Sika. I got the extra large one. I think I had 2 sizes if I'm not mistaken, but I got a Sika. Did a video a long time ago about a Sika and kind of how I interpreted its purpose. Very fun kind of classic gladiatorial weapon as well for ancient Rome. So I figured it'd be fun to have as a synthetic trainer. And then finally I have a Khopesh, Egyptian Khopesh, which I love this sword style. And of course it kind of got famous, re-famous maybe, in pop culture with the Mummy movies, I think specifically the one with the Scorpion King in it, as well as Game of Thrones, because the Dothraki use what is ostensibly a Khopesh. Really, really cool weapon. And so I figured it'd be really neat to have a synthetic of that. I could have gotten a bunch of synthetic weapons of all sorts of kind of standard HEMA stuff. But really I figured it'd be more fun to get the off-the-wall items. So I'm going to set that over here. Now this next box has a little bit of a story behind it. And it's not what I would normally buy, although I have a little bit of a soft spot for this type of sword. And I'll go ahead and say it up front. This is a stainless steel. It is not a high carbon steel. It shouldn't matter for this sword all that much. But I was walking through a thrift store, and this was on the shelf, basically brand new. And it is a Tai Chi sword. And it comes in this carrying case. So the whole thing is like one big little kind of kit. And I call it very much like a Tai Chi sword, not like a version of a Xian or anything like that. Because it is specifically just designed for people that are doing the actual meditative version of the martial art here. This one is called the 8 Tigrams version. And it's basically an Amazon thing. So basically this was an Amazon cast-off that ended up in a thrift store for a pretty heavy markdown from what you would get if you bought it on Amazon. So I'm going to get it open. We're going to take a look at it. Probably going to cut this part of the video as well, because it's probably super loud. All that trash down there. So this is what we get in the end. I've got a qualified certificate. This was made earlier this year, actually, in the very tail end of February of this year. So relatively new. So it comes in this nice little wooden sheath, and it's got pretty nice. You can hear the rattling of it all, but it is stainless steel. It has kind of neat markings on it, and I don't know what these markings mean. We've got what is, I assume, well, that looks like the Big Dipper, but constellation here, and something to do with the 8 Tigrams, I guess. And it's a very flexible sword, as you can see. And so that's why I'm not too worried about this being a stainless steel, because the purpose of it isn't to fight. It's blunt. It's got no real edge, no real anything to it, because it's meant strictly for whatever you do to practice Tai Chi. So real basic. I actually have another one kind of not like this, but another practice one somewhere. And it's very much the same thing. It's a nice looking sword. It kind of all goes together. Here's the sheath with its detailing. Nice kind of wooden thing. It's got this interesting kind of shape to it that is the yin and the yang, but kind of a different style. I think it's kind of neat. So that's it. Like, this is not anything super special, but I feel like it was worth the money just because it was such a heavy discount. And I'll add this to my kind of fun array of Chinese weaponry. Again, in this case, it's not really weaponry. I can tell you, it's not the best build quality looking at it. For example, you can actually see right here the alignment between the cross part and the pommel is not fully aligned. So the pommel is a little bit crooked. Thing is, I think that's all probably fixable because it might be glued a little bit. But I'm sure it could be kind of twisted back. And again, I don't know how much that really matters because the true purpose of this is for people who are going to do a meditative Tai Chi type thing. And the more I look at it, the more kind of weird and interesting it is. The yin-yang stuff on this is really strange. It's kind of interesting. Because I think that I always think of yin-yang as being the really standard one you kind of see here in the middle, which is just, you know, the white and the black with the inverted dots. But this kind of does two things. It inverts the two. So the white is actually convex and the black is actually concave. So you've got a bit of a, not just a color difference, but like a topographical difference. And then, like I said, in this one you have it being a very different design just in general. And up here, it's also a different design. And then it forms into the tail of a dragon. Kind of interesting. I don't know a lot about Chinese anything really. I can't really speak all that intelligently. And it's got characters on it that I'm going to put through a translate if I can. And if I figure out what in the world this says, I'll probably put it in the video. So what I'll do, if that happens, is I'll put these characters up, whatever they say, and then I'll put these characters up, whatever they say. And if there's nothing on this video, then you know that I could not successfully translate that, and c'est la vie. So, interesting little find. Again, it's designed to come with this carrying case, so it's actually meant to be kind of taken with you. And I think that's kind of actually a little bit interesting that it actually has an intent behind it for use instead of just decoration. Also has text. Also don't know what it means. I'll put it through translations. All right. That is my 8 Tigrams Tai Chi sword. And the final thing is actually a package from everyone's favorite giant corporation that sends you packages overnight. This was not sent overnight. In fact, it came quite late. I was expecting it multiple days ago. And it has since delayed me working on a video because this is actually a bit of a preface to a video I'm planning. Let's dig into it. Inside this giant Amazon box is another box. I have so many boxes around me now. Alright, so here's your hint as to what it is. This is, wow, so loud, I'm sorry, I'm sure I'll cut that part out. I don't think people could have packaged a more noisy type of plastic. Alright. Here we go. A lot of intentionality behind this sword that I will explain at least in part. So this is a katana, obviously. Kind of a garish katana. I'm going to flip it around because the interesting patterning is on this side. It is a, I guess it's kind of like a cherry blossom design. Very bright and interesting green. And the tsuba is real basic. It's got kind of leafy patterns on it. Anyway, it's kind of like this springtime feel. So here's why I bought this katana. It is one of the cheapest katanas you can buy that is actually functional. It is made of a non-stainless steel, high carbon. I think they said it's like a 1060 or something. It's got some oil on the blade here, so it needs to be cleaned off a bit. It is intentionally the cheapest katana I could basically buy. It's not entirely true. So this was a $50 katana. There was a $40 one from the same company, but it was so ugly that there was no way I was actually going to buy it. And I did this one because it's kind of a springtime feel. And I have a custom katana that's a lot nicer than this one that was designed intentionally to have like an autumn feel to it. So they kind of go together, and maybe I'll end up doing the 4 seasons as katanas, which I think would be kind of cool. And I don't know a lot about katanas. I will self-admit that. They're great little cutters. I enjoy their design philosophy. I certainly like more well-made ones. This one feels off. I will tell you that much right now. It feels so blade heavy. I don't know what's going on in this handle. I don't know that I care to know all that much either. I might end up taking it off eventually just to see, but ultimately it doesn't really matter to me because I'm not really planning on using this much at all, if at all. It is meant, at least in part, to be a prop for an upcoming video, more of just a bit of a narrative. I don't know, it's garish and not super well made, not surprising for $50. Especially the tsuba is, I don't know, it's just not well made. It's cast, and then the enameling on it is just kind of splotched on. So I will probably get some up close B-roll of this for you. All right, so there you go. I know it's not the normal stuff I would unbox, and it's all got a purpose behind it, I swear. Except for maybe the Tai Chi sword. That was just an opportunity. But interesting stuff. I'm really excited about my array of weird synthetic trainers. That'll be a lot of fun to kind of mess around with in the HEMA Club. The katana, it's a very interesting piece. I don't know, it would be normally something I'd buy, but at $50, why not? It's certainly cheap. It feels cheaper. Whatever. It's going to serve its purpose. Of course, I've got, for Purple Heart, I've also got my little Lichtenauer figure, which I really like. And I got my Tai Chi sword. And the thing that kicked all of this off, really, is just this stupid little tip piece that I needed and I didn't buy when I had the chance. So, I guess you can thank that mistake for a new video. Anyway, I hope you found this interesting. If you did, as always, like, share, subscribe, hit notification bell, all that good stuff, and I'll see you all in the next video.